Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Sappers Unscripted. Well, gents, in Joburg, it is miserable. That is why me and Brett look miserable, because Brett has just come from the most wonderful place in Cape Town straight back to Johannesburg with moody weather. And yeah, but otherwise, gents, are we all well? Are we ready to talk about the final round of the URC? Brett, how you
Yeah,
doing?
yeah, you summed up my day perfectly. Flight was delayed, lost my luggage, and then it's raining in Joburg. Can you actually believe it? In winter.
And Casual, how are you, bud?
Good, happy. Shut the cocky lions up real quick. Gave them hope. Snatched it back. It's one of my favorite things is when people just start dreaming, and then it gets snatched away. Obviously, I would have
Who are
loved for
these?
them to be in the top 8, but they started getting unhumble, and I do not like that.
Did they though?
Yeah.
Who are these
Wait.
cocky lions that you
Yeah,
talk to?
that's what I
don't
want to know.
Yeah, I don't know any
Yes.
cocky lion fans.
Yeah, just look at my comments, boys. It's one of those things. It's fascinating.
Yeah,
Guys,
maybe,
I've
maybe.
decided, speaking of that specific Lion Stormers game, I've decided I'm never watching a rugby game again in my life if it's not in a VIP suite.
How was that, by the way?
That was insane. Wow. It was just next level. Sorry, but I'm spending from now on. Don't care.
Okay. That's well.
Yeah, you're alone
that's
in
all.
that one, Brett.
Yeah,
You're
that's all.
alone in that one.
We can only dream. We
It's
can only
expensive.
dream.
Yeah, it's way too expensive.
Anyways, let's stop with the rambling on. Let's get into the rugby. We'll start off with your guys' team, Stormers versus Lions. Wow, boys, interesting game. I mean, well, obviously I was playing, so I obviously watched the highlights of both games. Watched the full game of the Bulls. Watched majority of extended version of the highlights for the Stormers because I was playing. But Stormers 29, Lions 24. Very entertaining game. Some say it was the best South African derby they've seen in a very long time. We'll start off with Brett. What was your thoughts on your team getting it over the line?
Firstly, before we spoke about when the team came out, I mentioned on the group that I'm quite nervous that Sasha Feinberg and Gomazulu is at fullback, and my goodness, just put that man in a Bok jersey, even if it's the number 3 jersey. The Oak can jaw. This Oak is the real deal. I mean, those 2 try-saving tackles that he put in on towards the end there. This Oak is he's on a whole other level. I was quite upset with Angelo Davids' red card. I called it straight away. I even shouted, "Oh, he's going off with a red." And yeah, that was just... He had the perfect opportunity to cream Nohamba, ribs gone, thank you for coming. And there was no effort there. So that annoyed me. But the retaliation was the stupidest thing I've seen from a professional rugby player. He came from 20 meters away to push and shove Angelo Davids, who had his hands up, said sorry, and then all of a sudden gets shoved. So that was just stupid from the Lions and poor captaincy. I think that there were 2 penalties where the Lions should have gone for the scrum or the lineouts at least, and both times they went for the poles, and one was from the corner. And he missed it. So that was just stupid captaincy. I think if they went for the try, the Lions would have been in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. At the start, I felt we played some great rugby, and then the Lions capitalized on some of our mistakes, and they were good. They were very good yesterday. I think they were... You could probably say they were the better team overall, maybe. We got the victory in the end, but you know what annoys me, and I've said it multiple times, Brett, is the soft tries that we concede. It's the most frustrating thing in the world, right? Their first try. We are 5 meters away from their try line. We make a mistake in the lineout by throwing it in skew, right? Then we concede a penalty at the ruck. They kick it to the halfway line. We concede another penalty. They kick it to the corner and they score from there. Literally within 2 minutes, we could have had 5 to 7 points. They go on, score in the corner, he kicks it over, they got 7 points. And all of a sudden, we under immense pressure, right? Like, it's the most annoying thing. And I totally agree. Like, that is the easiest red card you could probably ever see. Like, it was a total brain fart. I don't know what Angelo Davids thought, right? He was just sprinting down on him and said, listen, I'm not going to duck for shit. I'm going to smoke this guy's head right into the nice little suite or in the lounge where Brett was sitting. Give him a little souvenir to take home. That's what he was doing. Like, I truly hope Namba's okay, because he's had a sensational season and stuff. But that did not look good. That was idiotic. That was a pure brain fart moment. But overall, happy to get the victory. I think we'll take some confidence from this game going forward. Obviously, we have to play Glasgow, but the Lions want to run. They were very good yesterday. JC Pretorius, once again, that guy is a menace. Get him in a Stormers jersey at least.
Go quickly because I got more to add. So go quickly and then.
Okay, well, I just wanted to add light on. I think you guys can be happy with the way you brought it back. Well, not brought it back. I think won the game, going down to 14 men, and just being able to claw it over the line at the end. I think that shows it's always good. It's a good sign when a team knows how to win, and that's what the Stormers are showing at some points in the season where they have to grind out wins. And also, I want to add to Brett's point with the obviously the red card was a red card, but with the yellow card, I mean, like you said, that captaincy though, like you've just thrown yourself off the field, and your team needs you at that because now you can go 15 against 14, and at least if you're gonna push the guy, like stop before instead of pushing him with such momentum. But at the same time, David's like, you sold that push very nicely, but I like the way you rolled twice. Like, that was clever. But anyways, I think tough game against Glasgow, but
that also kind of swung the game because the Lions had momentum until that red and yellow card. Because when it was 14 against 14. It felt like the Stormers kind of said, okay, listen, we have to pick up our game. If it was just a red card and was all of a sudden they have the momentum and now they're playing against 14 players, it was kind of like, okay, the Lions are winning this game. But now that it was 14 against 14, I felt like the Stormers knew these 10 minutes is going to be crucial. They want to see if they can do some damage with 14 boys against 14 boys, and that's what they did because that got them back in the game the next 10 minutes somehow. But yeah, Brett.
I think I just wanted to add my last part and then Brett's all yours. Is just how impressed I was with Sasha's double tackle. Obviously we see people making double hits here and there, but that was a crucial point in the game where if the Lions had scored, they were gonna win the game essentially. And obviously that ankle tap is just obviously it's a great defensive save, but the work rate to get up. Because there were offloads. There was no ruck for him to just get up and find his feet and set again. He had to get up and to stop Frankie Horn from that close. And you're a 50 or you're a backline player. You're not okay. Obviously, he's a big boy, but like he's not as big as Frankie Horn. And to still drive him into touch, I mean that shows the work rate Rusty looks for. So absolutely, I think he needs to be in the squad.
I agree. Also, I just want to raise something. So if there's any youngsters that ever watch our episodes, Maximus Schwano's tackle, that is the 101 how not to tackle. If you're not confident with tackling with your left shoulder, step out the way, let somebody else take a position because he concussed himself in that first half where Davids didn't really drop his shoulder. But you cannot be with your head on the wrong side that blatantly. That was looking to be concussed, honestly. But then also what I want to raise is I think Jordan Hendrickse is the real deal. He's really shaping. Since he signed with the Sharks, he's been playing the best rugby of his life.
But he switched to inside center. Do you think it's like in his mind he knows with the inside center he's got to carry a bit more, he's got to toughen up a bit? Or
yeah, you nailed it. That's exactly what I think. I think that He feels that now he has to be the hard man in the team. Like the Stormers do it very well with Dan Duplessis, but he's not a bruiser, Dan Duplessis. But the role somehow suits him as well to take it up because he doesn't necessarily look for the contact; he looks for the hole. Whereas Jordan Hendrickse was kind of looking to try and be the hard man of the team. So, yeah, I'm very impressed with Hendrickse at this point. Him and like Dan Duplessis was a good matchup there for the 12s, but yeah, just happy with the win.
Even his name doesn't spring to mind, but the 9 from the Lions, he had a brilliant game as well.
Mono van den Berg.
Yeah, that guy can jawl. He plays some lacquer rugby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's good.
Well, let's move on to the Bulls versus the Sharks. Look, we didn't realize the Sharks were gonna bring out, obviously no Eben Etzebeth, no Grant Williams, no Mapimpi, but the rest were their full strength side. We didn't realize that they were gonna go full strength, and they went and they did it. But I'll go first because it's obviously my side and the Bulls. I think the Bulls can be happy with that, super happy with that result. They did what they could. They got the bonus point. They tried to finish on top, but unfortunately, we'll get into the results of the other games later. But unfortunately, they do finish second. But to go, obviously, we've all said it, the Sharks hot and cold, and even Brett said on the group, I said, okay, this makes me a bit more nervous that they've picked a stronger side. And he was like, don't, they're just shit. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of what happened. But to go away, obviously, the Sharks haven't been great this season, but to take a bonus points away at the Shark Tank, they can be super happy with that. And SA Shield winners, which is fantastic as well for the Bulls. So, yeah, I think they can hold their heads high, and hopefully we can just grind to the final.
The Bulls should have put on a lot more points at the start against the Sharks. Not at the start, but in the middle patches of the game. Because at the end, I felt like the Bulls were on the ropes again. Like the Sharks kind of refueled when they scored that second try. Like you always felt that second try was coming. Obviously, the Bulls scored at the end to secure the bonus point and everything as well. But the Bulls made very, very hard work of the Sharks at the end. Like I felt like the Sharks has got the slimmest chance of actually winning this game. And that's not good for the Bulls. Like how many times have we said they just drop off at the end, whether it's the subs or whatever, if they think they have got the win secured. But it's shocking. Like you got to fix that, especially going into these playoff rounds now. Obviously, you don't have the toughest game in the world. Who are you playing?
Benetton.
Yeah, Benetton at Loftus.
Benetton, the bogey side.
Yeah, you never know.
Benetton literally 2 weeks ago. So, yeah. Benetton was very good this week, and we'll get into that. But, Brevin, does it scare you, the fact that you keep on dropping off at the end of the game?
Well, I know why. I mean, that bench is horrific. I mean, I've mentioned this 1,000 times. Like, you look at the starting lineup of the Bulls and you think, damn, like that is a championship winning side. And you look at the bench, Akke van der Merwe or Johan Grobler, whoever's on the bench, and you just think, like, is this the bench we need? The depth we need? Like, it's just really not strong enough, in my opinion. And when those players come on, I feel like they slack a lot. And I think that causes a massive drop-off in the side. But something needs to be fixed. I mean, you can't complain. You have what you have, and you need to use it. So we got to fix something going into the playoffs. Because if we obviously go on and beat Benetton, it's going to be Ulster or Leinster. Most likely, a full-strength Leinster side will finally come to South Africa and play the Bulls in a semi-final at Loftus. Yeah. A Leinster side isn't going to let you. I mean, you're not going to score many points against the Leinster side, so you got to hang in there the whole game. And so the Bulls have got to work on it.
You got to play your first 15, the full 80, Brevin.
Exactly.
God, let those boys come up and shock you.
Yeah, Brett, your thoughts?
I got a few things that I took away from that game that really shocked me, like Kana Moody bouncing oxen chair.
Yeah.
Like, sit down, son. You have to put the big boys now. That impressed me. And also, what I'm going to say now, this is my early prediction. Ethan Hooker is going to play 50 caps for the Box one day. Can't tell you when, but
He's so good.
He's a very good player.
he's so like level-headed. He's so calm. And I haven't seen that from a youngster in a long time. Like, if I'm comparing him and a Wandisile Similani from this weekend, like hot head, like I must do everything now because I have to cement myself in the team, versus a Hooker. Well, his surname is Hooker, who's so calm and collected and does what he needs to do and does it well. Like, I'm really impressed with that kid. But yeah, some takeaways from the game. Also, I felt that the Bulls, they left at least 14 points on the field there.
Easily.
Yeah. But yeah, how good can I just? People don't understand this. As a backline player, the fact that half the country doesn't like Willie Leroux, when you run at full pace and still give a 40-meter pass to the side, I mean, do you know how difficult that is? And he makes it look so effortless. And he does it so well. It blows my mind. Best signing Willie could have made in his career was to go to the Bulls.
Brett, I don't want to go back to the Stormers game, but while we were watching the Stormers game, I said, Dobbo, you can be my absolute hero if in the next 30 seconds, and this was like after minute 15, you sub off Similani. I think he made like 10 mistakes in the first 15 minutes. Yes. Knocking the ball, a free ball, you could have just picked it up and ran, tried to kick it, miskicked it, straight to them, they scored from it. I was fuming at Similani. Like, absolutely, I was like, put Hartzenberg on outside center and Ben Loader on the wing. I do not care. Just get him off the field. Yeah. Right? Anyway, back to the Bulls game. I can't remember when the last time was that I saw someone have so many run meters as Kanan Moody had yesterday.
And this is why Kanan is not a 13. He is a wing. We play him at wing. Jake, don't try him at 13. Let Rassi do that if he really wants to. But you keep him at wing. I'm happy with him there. And Johan Goosen having the confidence to chip on his own try line. Yes, see, like
giving us a foot race between Fassi and Moody. Beautiful.
Look, we know Moody's not the fastest around. We know he's got pace, but we know he's not the fastest around. Obviously, Fassi's quick, but I mean, I'm very happy with the way Moody's peaking at the moment. I felt like he was going through a bit of a dip in form in the mid-season, and now he's finding his feet because he's being played in the right position and he's finding confidence. So.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where a guy gets put onto the scene and it's like, okay, well, I feel like I'm the best, so I got to prove I'm the best. And you try and do too much, try to carry the ball too many times. When now he's just doing the basics that he did to get him into that box jersey, and he's doing it absolutely brilliantly.
I actually just a little bit disagree with you guys because I don't think he's had a dip in form at all this season. I think that his role just changed, and it didn't suit him. It didn't make his form necessarily dip because he hardly ever made mistakes. It's not like he fell off. Like, he didn't do what Similani did and make mistake after mistake. He's just maybe got quieter in the game because his role was changed, and they figured out very quickly that it doesn't suit him. And this weekend, when his role changed back to why he's actually in the team, then you see the Moody that was on the
fair
field.
Enough. Fair assessment, yeah.
But yeah, also going on that Ethan Hooker point, this is why, like when we did our signings video where we said who should sign you, I said the Bulls should really look into it. But obviously, it probably won't happen now because he's becoming a Sharks.
I want him at the Stormers, so now you can sit down again. And
you want everyone by the sounds of it, so that Stormers side's going to be loaded.
Well, he's better than Similani, and that's who we currently have.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think the Sharks will keep hold of that guy like there's no tomorrow, considering he's playing so well. So,
and he's a born leader. He's a leader as well. You can see it.
Yeah. Anyway, well, that left the Bulls in second place. We do play Benetton. Obviously, we'll get into our preview of the quarterfinals at another stage. But, guys, Friday's games. Interesting. Brett was literally at like halftime. He's like, We're gonna go zero. Oh, here's a funny story though. I don't know if anyone knows, but we do a super brew. Okay, if you know what a super brew is, basically like you predict games and you get points and whatever for margins, whatever. I forgot to do my Friday fixtures. This guy's like, I'm gonna go 0 for 2, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot to put my picks in, and I can't. So I got 0 points for those 2 games. But by the way, boys, how did I bloody top the thing with not have? Anyway, we'll not even talk about that. But anyway, Leinster versus Connacht, boys. Expected. We thought this was gonna happen.
Not me.
No, well, not Brett, but
Yeah, Brett went for a Connacht victory. That's why he doesn't get the first word
Because
in on this one. No.
Prendergast was the 10, guys. It's dog shit.
Yeah, but if you watch this game, like Connacht can be lucky they got 7. They got absolutely like it's not that Leinster steamrolled them. They just like totally controlled the game. They were just in cruise control, got their points. The result was never in doubt for them. It was just a mature performance, just beating them on literally every single front. Yeah, there's not much to say about this game except for just Leinster were so much better at every facet.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'm like really keen for is I'm actually keen to see, and even if this means it costs us a final, like I'm really keen to see what a Bull side can do against Leinster at Loftus. If obviously they beat Ulster and we beat Benetton, that obviously has to happen first. But I'm keen to see those 2 sides go at it at Loftus, 2 full strength sides. It fascinates me. Brett, you
gotta see it.
No, that's what I'm excited for the most because I think Leinster, yes, they're hurting from their loss, but they're actually being found out and they're doing too much squad rotation. Mark my words, the lack of continuity going into playoffs is going to come back and bite them. And they're going to come to Loftus, think they duck troll, and then they're not going to be because you're not going to come to Loftus and bully the Bulls. So I think that they needed to play more of their like starters in this game, even off the bench, whatever, just to build continuity. Yes, they have a good system and everyone understands the system and blah, blah, blah. Mark my words, they're going to come to Loftus and they're going to get flipping found out.
Yeah, Brett, that's what, like, they've not only got squad depth, but quality squad depth. Like, their C team can still beat your average URC team. But the good URC teams, let's say, like the Bulls, especially at Loftus, you need your best team to be on form as well. Like, you need your chemistry to be up there. So you can have squad depth and they can beat teams. But your best team needs to have played a couple of games before you go up against the Bulls. Because one thing that the Bulls have done, the boys might be tired or they don't like to travel and stuff, or they haven't performed in the Champions Cup. You've got the guys have all played at least, let's say, 10 to 12 games together this season. At least that's starting 15. You know what the squad's going to be when it comes out. Like, there will be no surprises with it. So but we'll give previews to those games when.
Yeah, for sure. Well, next up, we had a game where we always have been on Zebra's back. We've always been giving them slack. We gave them praise in the beginning of the season. And they almost, I think they can be proud of the performance they put up against Glasgow.
They could have easily won that game. They were in the lead.
Yeah.
So, and quite far.
Yeah. But no, obviously you guys play against Glasgow in the quarterfinals. And looking at that, I think you guys stand a chance. I think you do.
Use that artificial grass.
Okay, but it is what it is. We adapt. That's what South Africans do. We adapt. But
I'm not concerned about that, but I am concerned about for Glasgow. The game against Zebra. I saw a bunch of peacocks in that game. They were chest out, and they, like, I promise you, I could see their body attitude, their attitudes walking onto the field like, oh, this is a formality, and they almost got their asses handed to them. So that might be a bad thing for the Stormers because now they know, shit, we can't take anybody lightly. Yeah. But yes, they almost slipped up. So good on them.
They would have taken this game with us seriously regardless. But they've got some flaws in their game that has like I went yesterday and I looked at some of their results in the past couple of weeks, and they've like extremely dropped off as to what, even if they won some games, yeah, nitty gritty wins and whatever, but they looked a lot better at the start of the season. Like this game against Zebre, as soon as Zebre got that ball to their back line, it was danger for Glasgow. That I don't know if did you guys see how good that fullback is of Zebre? He was insane, right? And if you give the Stormers running room like that, it's gonna be a good night for you. Like that is just it. And I can't see Glasgow matching up to us physically. So I feel confident when I say that stuff, but I know we're not good at traveling. So,
but I would be very interested to see who plays what, because obviously Phillips is injured. Will Galant be 15? Will Sasha be something else? Do you keep Ruiz at 6 because he was so good at 6? My goodness. Yeah. So I'm
Bobo said, listen, your way in is playing number 6 with Sia not being captain. Maybe he's getting shot out like Sam Kane, right? Maybe that 6 jersey opens up for the likes of Evan Ruiz. I don't know.
Well,
just put a Bok jersey on the lad. Anyway, yeah. Okay, guys, this game shocked the hell out of me because, like I said, I was playing rugby at the time. So I got back and I just saw the results in the table and I was like, what? Benetton absolutely annihilating Edinburgh. Like, Edinburgh, you had one job. All you had to do was get 1 point from this game. 1 point. And you didn't. You got beat 31-6. Like, that is rough.
Could have been more. It could have been even more.
And the first thing I'm going to...
No, it definitely should have been more. And that was in the last. So I obviously haven't focused a lot on Edinburgh throughout the season. But of the games that I have watched Edinburgh, this is their worst game probably ever since I've started watching Edinburgh play. So what? That's 3 years?
Yeah.
That was atrocious. They didn't want to be there. It seemed it was.
I mean, I have 1 point to make. For everybody that was saying Duan van der Merwe would make a Springbok side, you cannot tackle a guy by reaching out like this. Sorry, there's a worm. Like this and grabbing shirts. You need to tackle the oak low. Go for the ball and tackle him. And he literally, was it Bricks who literally just handed him off and then offloaded to the wing and he went.
Yeah. Sorry, Bricks.
And I was just like, Duan, like you are so big and strong. You're such a strong ball carrier. You can tackle, bud. Like, can you not do that properly?
His defense has always been shaky. We've been saying this for a long time.
I have a serious question though. You've been eating sour worms, and how is your mouth not even flinching?
I love sour sweets, man.
Like he's telling it like it's nothing, and he says, "Oh, sorry, sour worm." I look at a sour worm, my face is doing all sorts. Look at that.
Listen, 31-6 flatters Edinburgh. They got spanked.
Yes.
Like everything of mine is on a desk, right? And if Benetton was in this room, they just put Edinburgh's body on this desk as well and just like spanked them. That's exactly what happened yesterday. They got obliterated.
Yeah.
Like Menoncello and Bricks had an absolute field day. As soon as that ball went out wide, it was damage control for Edinburgh. Okay, just push them as far as you can into the corner so they don't get 7 points, only 5. That's kind of how it felt. Like Edinburgh never looked like scoring. They never looked like they wanted to tackle anything. Like Benetton, it felt like Benetton knew, okay, we are playing to get into the top 8. And Edinburgh was like playing, okay, we also need to get we also need to get Benetton in the top 8. That's how it felt looking at that game. They had no fighting spirit, no will, no desire. That was shocking. That was a horrific performance. Horrific. You should be ashamed, especially after the performance you put up against Leinster. You should be embarrassed.
Yeah, no, that wasn't great. Then we go to a nothing game, which we're just going to skip through, but Scarlets did go and beat the Dragons 32 points to 15. Nothing game, to be honest. Yeah, and then this game, I watched the whole game because obviously it had a lot to do with the Bulls. Munster nearly, but this is why Munster are URC champions, in my opinion. They found a way to win this game. It
Yeah.
looked like they were struggling, but Munster did go and beat Ulster 29-24. And I think Munster only took the lead towards the last 15 minutes of the game. So, yeah, I was hoping Ulster could pull this off, but unfortunately not, because Munster just found a way. So that does leave Munster on top of the log. And if they do not lose a quarterfinal or semi-final, they will host the final. So
Yeah.
here's to hoping they slip up. But anyway, we move.
Listen, Ulster was good. Ulster
Yeah,
was
they were
good.
they were good.
And they've kind of like picked up some steam after the loss against the Stormers. Well, their performance against the Stormers were better. They deserve to beat us, right? In Newlands or at Cape Town Stadium. They've picked up some steam, obviously beat Leinster as well. They got themselves to a point where they were at a point fighting to get into the top 10. They already secured their place in the playoffs before this weekend started, which was great for them. And then taking Munster to the wire, they have got the momentum going for them, because I think they could take this nearly as a win. That's how good they played. And now they have to go and play against Leinster, who they've already beat twice this season. So they'll have confidence going into that one. They know they can't lay down. They know Leinster will be up for it. And I think that game is going to be extremely exciting, because that's going to be, Ulster's going to try and make that game ugly, keep it nice and tight, kick your penalties. That's how it's going to be.
Yeah, that will be an interesting game. And then the last game of the weekend, I think it didn't really break my heart, but it broke my heart for Lions fans, because the Lions at the moment this game was being played were in the quarterfinals of the URC. And then Ospreys just said, nope, this is our URC quarterfinal spot, not yours. And then they went and beat Cardiff 33 points to 29. So that did knock the Lions out of the playoff spots, unfortunately, and Ospreys take that final spot in 8th place. I mean, Ospreys aren't a fantastic side, but what we've seen this season is they went up against the Stormers in Cape Town, really shocked the system there. They've put in some good results in other places as well. So ultimately, I think it's we have a Welsh side in the quarterfinals. Like, at least all sides are being represented in the playoffs. So I think they can hold their heads high, but they are traveling to Munster now. So I don't know. That's not
Yeah,
good.
but that's why.
Great.
Let me just add to that, where you said now you did feel sorry for the Lions, and as a South African fan, I should too, but I don't, in the sense that they had a perfect opportunity to come to go to Cape Town, and if you want to play in a playoff, win your games. I'm sorry, but yes, it's harsh to say it like I'm saying it, but they could have beaten the Stormers if they had better leadership. The stupidest yellow card that I've seen in my life, Maurice Loney, he should be held accountable for that loss. They should be ridiculing him, because they had opportunity to go up at least by 2 tries. But his ego came into play, and he thought that, okay, let me go, and it's not like there's 2 ARs, TMO, and 65,000 cameras. Let me go push this oak and hope nothing's going to come from this. So the Lions, I'm not going to feel sorry for them, because they had the chance and they blew it. They just plain well blew it.
The only reason that I feel a bit sorry for the Lions is, like, obviously they should have won more games at the start of the season. They had a terrible start to the season. If they started like they finished, they would have easily been in the top 8, right? Brett, you are very zoomed in right now. And then the only reason I feel bad for them is because look at the teams they have to play twice. They have to play the Stormers twice. They have to play the Sharks twice. They have to play the Bulls twice. Look at, for instance, Benetton or Edinburgh that has to play like Scarlets twice and Zebra twice and Benetton twice. Like, it's a bit.
It is.
Unfair, right?
It's unfortunate.
If you play everyone twice, they get into the top 8 pretty easily, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. But just to cap off the episode, I'll quickly read you the quarterfinals before we wrap up. So Munster do play Ospreys, Munster at home. Bulls play Benetton, Bulls at home. Leinster play Ulster, Leinster at home. And Glasgow plays Stormers, with Glasgow being at home. Obviously, Brett is having technical difficulties at the moment. But there he is. There he is. I can't hear you, Brett.
No,
But
we
anyway,
can't hear it, but we still.
we're literally going to end the episode here because technical difficulties, and we've actually wrapped up the episode. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We didn't even ask for you to subscribe. We're so sorry for that, but please do subscribe. Please continue to like, share the video. We really appreciate you guys, every single one of you. And literally, believe it or not, we are going to go and film another episode now, which will be released on another day because we are that committed. So we will see you guys soon, and cheers.
Cheerios.